If you talk to people from other religions, some of them have experienced supernatural things. So how do you explain that if it's not from God? Because supernatural power doesn't just come from God. Satan and the demons have supernatural power, although it's a counterfeit version of it. It's like monopoly money versus real money. From the surface, if you have no discernment, you're not going to tell the difference. But when you take a closer look, you can see the difference in those powers. So the first thing to know about demons are they are fallen angels who must submit to God's will as his creation. I think that's important to understand that demons were created by God in the sense that they were angels, right? They're one of the many angels who fell. They became demons. And Satan is a demon. So he's not a higher level kind of creation. He is one of the many demons. Now, he is given the title, positional authority over the other demons, but he's not a different type of demon than they are. Does that make sense? Much like if we elect a president, they hold a higher authority, but it's not like the president's nature is superior to ours. So as powerful as Satan is, he's simply just a demon. That's why I said last week, the battle is not between Satan and Jesus. That's not a battle. Jesus created all the angels. The battle is Satan and Michael, who's another angel, the archangel. So it's archangel on one side, Satan on the other side. They're constantly battling. And that's why you kind of see military language of angels throughout the Bible. So let's talk about demons. Before I get into Satan and his names, the question sometimes people ask is, what do demons look like? And you know, the cartoon picture is that, like a red, horns, but that's not really the depiction of demons in the Bible. In fact, demons oftentimes are not described as necessarily a scary picture. Look at how they're described by the Apostle Paul, 2 Corinthians 11:14. He called Satan, who is the chief demon, is someone who disguises himself as an angel of light. Meaning that if you were just to look at Satan, he can look just like another angel. We see in Revelation chapter 13, Satan is so successful in convincing the world that he almost gets a lot of the people in the world to worship him through the Antichrist. So the thing about demons is that they're not going to be so obvious. They're subtle. One of the ways to understand is that the difference between angels and demons is that angels do, miraculous things on behalf of God's will, while demons counterfeit everything angels do. So demons are the counterfeit angels, so to speak. So they will do miracles that look like they're from God, but they're not. They're from their own power. You guys remember the story of Moses and Aaron? They went in, and remember they had a battle of the staff that turned into a snake? Now, have you ever read that passage and asked yourself, wait, how did they do that? Like, I understand Moses was able to do it because of God's power. Like, how were they able to turn their staff into a snake? Well, where do you think that power comes from? It's not from God, it's from demons. And so that's why even the snake eating up that snake was an illustration of they have power, but it's a counterfeit power that's not as powerful as God's power. So that's one thing to understand is that Satan and his demons, their goal really is to deceive people with the power of God, to make a counterfeit picture of God's power that's pretty close to it, but not quite at the same level. That's why later on we're going to see false religions are powered by demonic powers. Because if you talk to people from other religions, some of them have experienced supernatural things. So how do you explain that if it's not from God? Because supernatural power doesn't just come from God. Satan and the demons have supernatural power, although it's a counterfeit version of it. It's like monopoly money versus real money. From the surface, if you have no discernment, you're not going to tell the difference. But when you take a closer look, you can see the difference in those powers. So demons don't come out with red horns and all this stuff and scary stuff necessarily. A lot of times they're going to look good. They're going to maybe even be inviting to you. And they might even get you to do miracles in your life to make you stray from God. And there are things that people might say, wow, if God didn't want me to go this path, he wouldn't have done this miracle. Well, maybe that's not God doing the miracle then. That's why you don't want your faith based on purely supernatural things or miracles or healings. Because Satan can heal you. Right? I mean, do you remember the temptation Satan said to Jesus? Right? Come on, just bow down to me and I can give you the whole world. Right? Turn this rock into... Satan's not just saying that's lying. He can actually do those things. But the idea is that you cannot just depend on what you see and what you experience to determine whether something's from God or not.